Hey there, cartoon fans. Are you ready for a tale that's as electrifying as it is spooky? Today we're diving into the world of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, a story that has captivated imaginations for over 2 centuries. Picture this. It's 1816, and Mary's hanging out with some seriously brainy buddies, like her hubby, Percy Shelley, the poet dude. They're not just any group of friends, they're some of the most creative minds of their time. They challenge each other to a spooky story contest. Imagine the crackling fire, the shadows dancing, and the air thick with anticipation. Mary wins hands down with Frankenstein. Her story stands out, not just for its horror, but for its depth and innovation. Talk about a scary campfire story. But it's more than just a tale to give you the chills. This book is a classic for a reason, folks. It's a groundbreaking work that explores themes still relevant today. It's got everything: a mad scientist, a creepy creature, and a plot that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And some seriously big questions about life, death, and what it means to be human. Mary Shelley didn't just write a horror story. She delved into the very essence of existence. We're talking deeper than a bowl of crusty O's here. This isn't just a monster tale, it's a philosophical journey. Imagine young Mary, just 18 years old, penning this masterpiece. She was inspired by a dream, a vision of a scientist who created life and was horrified by what he had made. This dream was so vivid, so powerful, that it became the foundation of her novel. It's a testament to the power of imagination and the impact of our subconscious. When Frankenstein was published, it was an instant hit. Readers were both terrified and fascinated by the story. It was unlike anything they had ever read before. The novel explores the consequences of playing God, the responsibilities of creation, and the ethical dilemmas of scientific advancement. These are themes that resonate even more today in our age of rapid technological progress. Think about it. With advancements in AI, genetic engineering, and robotics, the questions Mary Shelley raised are more relevant than ever. What are the limits of human innovation? What responsibilities do we have towards our creations? And let's not forget the creature itself. Often misunderstood, it's a symbol of isolation and the consequences of being different. It's a poignant reminder of the need for empathy and understanding. Frankenstein isn't just a horror story, it's a call for compassion. It challenges us to look beyond appearances and understand the humanity within. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein has left an indelible mark on literature and popular culture. It's been adapted into countless films, plays, and even cartoons, each bringing a new perspective to the timeless tale. So next time you think of Frankenstein, remember it's more than just a monster story. It's a profound exploration of human nature, creativity, and the ethical boundaries of science. And who knows, maybe it'll inspire you to create something extraordinary. After all, every great story starts with a spark of imagination. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep creating, and keep... So what's the story all about? Buckle up, Buttercup, 'cause it's a doozy. Victor Frankenstein, our ambitious scientist, gets this crazy idea to create life. He's like the ultimate tinkerer, but instead of building a robot, he digs up body parts and zaps them with electricity.
The result? A giant, grotesque creature cobbled together from different corpses. Talk about a science project gone wrong. Victor is so grossed out by his creation that he's all, nope, and abandons the poor thing. Bad move, Victor. Bad move.
Let's talk about Victor for a sec. Victor Frankenstein, a name that echoes through the halls of both science and literature. He's not just any scientist, he's a man driven by an insatiable curiosity and a relentless pursuit of knowledge. But who exactly is Victor? And what makes him so extraordinary? This guy is one intense dude. Imagine someone who eats, sleeps, and breathes science. Victor's passion for discovery is so intense that it borders on obsession. His eyes, always wide with excitement, reflect a mind that never rests, constantly churning with ideas and possibilities. He's obsessed with pushing the boundaries of science and achieving the impossible. For Victor, the word impossible doesn't exist. He sees challenges as opportunities, and his lab is a playground where the rules of nature are meant to be bent, if not broken. His experiments are grand, ambitious, and often teeter on the edge of madness. Ambition is one thing, but Victor takes it to a whole new level. His drive to succeed and make groundbreaking discoveries is like climbing a never-ending mountain. Each step he takes is filled with determination, and he never looks back, always aiming for the peak, no matter how treacherous the path. He's like the kid who skips ahead in the textbook and accidentally blows up the chemistry lab. Remember that kid in school who was always a step ahead, sometimes to their own detriment? That's Victor. His eagerness to learn and experiment often leads to unexpected and sometimes explosive results. But that's what makes him so fascinating.
But hey, nobody's perfect, right? Even the most brilliant minds have their flaws. Victor's relentless pursuit of knowledge sometimes blinds him to the consequences of his actions. It's a reminder that even the greatest geniuses are human, with all the imperfections that come with it. Underneath that crazy scientist exterior, Victor's also got a good heart sometimes. Despite his intense exterior, there's a part of Victor that genuinely cares about the world and the people around him. His intentions, though often misguided, come from a place of wanting to make a difference, to leave a mark on the world. He's tormented by guilt over what he's created and the chaos it unleashes. The weight of his actions and the unintended consequences of his experiments haunt him. Victor's creations, born from his ambition, often spiral out of control, leaving him to grapple with the moral and ethical implications of his work. Talk about a heavy burden to bear. The responsibility of his creations and the havoc they wreak is a constant weight on Victor's shoulders. It's a burden that shapes his journey, driving him to seek redemption and understanding even as he continues to push the boundaries of what's possible.
Now let's not forget the star of the show, the monster. This guy gets a bad rap just because he's big, green, and stitched together from spare parts. But deep down, he's just a misunderstood giant looking for love and acceptance.
Imagine being abandoned by your creator and then thrown into a world that fears and rejects you. That's got to mess with your self-esteem.
The monster's journey is a tragic one, full of loneliness, anger, and a desperate desire to connect with the world around him. Here's where things get really interesting, and by interesting we mean terrifying. Imagine waking up one day to find that your wildest scientific experiment has come to life. That's exactly what happened to Victor. He thought he was creating a marvel of science, but what he got was a walking, talking disaster. Victor's creation, the monster, doesn't just sit around collecting dust. No, this creature is curious and adventurous. It roams the city, trying to understand the world it has been thrust into. It even tries on different clothes, attempting to blend in with the humans around it. But blending in is easier said than done when you're a towering figure stitched together from various body parts. Oh no, this guy's got needs. Just like any living being, the monster experiences hunger. It looks at a feast with longing, its stomach growling. But where does a creature like this find food? It's not like it can just walk into a restaurant and order a meal. He's got to eat, sleep, and figure out how to fit in with society. The monster tries to attend a party, hoping to make friends and find some sense of normalcy. But its appearance and awkward attempts at socializing make it the center of unwanted attention. When it tries to sleep, it finds that beds are not designed for beings of its size and shape. Every aspect of life is a challenge.
Easier said than done when you're a walking, talking science experiment. The monster struggles to fit through doors, its large frame causing it to bump into things. It even tries to understand its own existence by donning a lab coat and looking at scientific equipment, but it only ends up more confused.
The monster's attempts to integrate into the human world are met with fear, hostility, and pitchforks. Seriously, people, put down the pitchforks. The townspeople are terrified of this unknown entity. They don't see the monster's attempts to fit in. They only see a threat. Their fear turns into anger, and they chase the monster with pitchforks and torches, driving it away from any place it tries to call home. This leads to some, shall we say, unfortunate incidents. The monster, in its attempts to escape or find solace, often causes chaos. It might knock over a market stall or accidentally break a window. These accidents only fuel the townspeople's fear and anger, making the monster's life even more difficult. Let's just say Victor's creation turns into his worst nightmare. Victor watches in horror as his creation, which he once thought would be his greatest achievement, becomes a source of endless trouble. The monster's distress and the townspeople's hostility weigh heavily on him. He realizes that in his quest to play God, he has unleashed a being that neither he nor the world was ready for. The monster's existence is a constant reminder of the fine line between genius and madness, and the unforeseen consequences of tampering with the natural order. One of the biggest themes in Frankenstein is isolation. Victor isolates himself in his pursuit of knowledge, shutting out his loved ones and ignoring the consequences of his actions.
And then there's the monster, who is isolated from the moment he's created. He's a freak of nature, unable to find acceptance or companionship anywhere. Talk about a recipe for disaster.
Shelley's story shows us just how damaging isolation can be, both for individuals and for society as a whole.